This is Let's Talk, with the third episode of the second series, talking with Anthony Fitzpatrick, the actor. And in this episode, we discuss his experience as a director and how he got started as a theatre director. We were talking about directing.
Oh yes,
and
I love directing.
And how you loved it. And working on a range of different things. And we talked about, again, it's kind of relating things to one another and why it was important to have a single person sort of directing.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, one of the things I was thinking was you were directing Jesus Christ Superstar, and you talked about Jesus.
Assistant directing.
Oh, you were assistant director on that
assistant
one? Okay.
Director,
Assistant director.
Have to keep myself right.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
that's how it started.
That was
the first step.
Yeah.
I had never thought about directing before.
Yeah.
I don't know why. When I think about it now, I'm going, why did I not think about directing? I love directing. So I always kind of know, because I'm an actor.
Yeah.
When I'm directing someone else, I talk to them as an actor.
Yeah.
The way I would want to be talked to if someone was directing me.
Would you take us through that a little bit? I mean, if we were. We've got Fiddler's Walk up on YouTube.
Yeah.
So, and you played Declan. Now forget the fact that I was the director, but imagine that you've got an actor in front of you now who's playing Declan, and you're the director of that.
Yeah.
What would you encourage?
Well, I would let him play first.
Yeah.
I would always let the actor to see what they feel comfortable with. So I would let them go for. I'm not one for going, this is what I want before they even open their mouths.
Yeah.
Or I don't like stopping them after they say 2 words, which some directors do. So, oh God, a big speech. And no, hold on, wait.
Yeah.
How could that be?
Absolutely.
How could and be wrong?
Yeah, yeah.
But so I would always let them go first.
Yeah.
To see what they do with it, and then I would spot the little nuances wherever they may be. But I wouldn't go and say, don't say it like that, say it like this. That's not what I would do. I try to cajole them, I suppose, into it.
Because one of the things that I find interesting is I've worked with a few people who are directing maybe documentaries or doing others, and they want a piece of voiceover done.
Yes.
And they keep wanting certain words emphasised.
Yeah.
And you kind of go, well, actually, that's...
Not all the time.
That's
Again,
making it automatic. There's something wrong.
Because for the person speaking the lines,
Yeah.
the actor speaking the lines, it's not always, if the director's not an actor,
Yes.
sometimes a lot of the time it's not a clash. I wouldn't call it a clash, but there's always the director said, no, but I want you to emphasize that word, and you're going, but that's not the word you're supposed to emphasize. Speaking like that, this would be the word you emphasize, not that one.
Yeah.
And it's to try and explain this but then the only way to do it is to do it to them and say, okay, I'll say the line and emphasize the word that you want, and you'll say it, emphasize their word, and they'll go, oh, what's wrong with that? And then you do it your way with the proper word emphasized, and they go, oh yeah. So
absolutely.
again, it's just a knowledge thing.
We see one of the things that I was trying to explore when we did some of those things, and I think I've done. We're having a conversation at the moment, and nothing that we have is scripted.
No.
We're coming up, so we're literally within a fraction of a second thinking about what we're about to say, and we actually say it.
Yeah.
Depending on how our emotions are and whatever's going on.
Yes.
And that's something that I felt was important, that the line should be delivered in the films that I
As
did.
realistically as possible.
Realistic, as though you've just thought it up.
Because I do remember you saying, I think I said it to you one day, if I miss a word here or there, and you went, as long as it's within the, and you're comfortable saying it, as long as it's within the story arc.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be exactly what's written.
Yeah.
Some directors are very strict
Yeah.
in dialogue that you cannot miss one word, even the.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, well, that's not important, which it isn't.
Yeah.
But that's
Absolutely.
each to their own, of course.
Absolutely.
But it's not always.
Well, I know as a human being that I sometimes mix the words up, or the wrong word comes out.
Yeah, but that's natural.
And that's
That's the whole point of being on a camera. If it's the more natural it is, I said this the last time about Burt Reynolds saying, "Don't get caught." If you're not, which means if you're not natural, you're going to be seen oh yes, they're acting now.
Absolutely.
Rather than going, and getting pulled into the story.
Yeah.
That's so it can get strange sometimes.
And again, when you've got two people and they're having a dialogue, you want it to be as though if they're listening to what the other person's saying, they'll respond, as long as they work out what they're trying to achieve in the scene.
Yeah.
Because when we're, we're having a dialogue again, and we're looking to say, well, what do I want out of this?
Yeah.
So, okay, can we get out of this what, we've got certain objectives we're trying to achieve. And then, so there's a kind of game of bouncing backwards and forwards.
Yes, it is a game, basically. It's a game.
To see how the dialogue can be. And also, one of the things that's quite interesting in real life is that you may be about to say what you're about to say, and all of a sudden you get cut short.
Yes.
And
then you forget what you were going to say.
Yeah, and can I hook back in, and that, actually watching that, it becomes more interesting to see, can the person
get
back in?
Yeah.
Or have they lost it?
That's where you would leave the camera running, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, never mind cuts, just keep running.
Just keep on going and see what the dialogue is.
It's trial and error every time, even though acting's been around for thousands of years.
Yeah.
And it's still a learning process. People are still, anybody who tells you they don't need to learn anything, don't know what they're talking about. Because even Laurence Olivier said, I think he was about 75, and he went, I'm still learning. Yeah. When somebody like that tells you.
Well, in this last week, I've been working with students. Now, we're not talking about drama, but there's drama that comes out of it. And one of the things that's quite interesting is that some students were struggling with a task.
Yes.
And as we nurtured through that task, they suddenly went, oh, and you could see it was kind of
when the realization hits them.
Their eyes just sort of.
I love to see that.
And you kind of go, right, and that would be lovely to try and explore.
I found that lots of times now when I'm teaching.
Yes.
I find that a lot teaching with young kids, some teenagers as well, but the younger ones, the ones that are maybe primary 6 and 7, who are nearly adults.
Yes.
Not so much the weer ones, you just play games with them. But that's good for their confidence. But when you explain something to them and you see that realization in their face going, yeah. And then it makes you just feel. I remember one of the schools I was at, way up the country somewhere, and it was a 6-week thing. And there was a girl, I think she was primary 6, and she was so quiet. Shy, introverted, really quiet. Lovely, polite person. When you spoke to her, she spoke, but her head went down a lot.
Yeah.
See, after the 6 weeks, she was putting her ideas forward, and she was going, can I try?
Yeah.
That's what it's about. That's, to me, what it's all about, is the kid. Kids all should do drama. All kids should. It doesn't matter whether they want to be actors or not. It just does something to them for their lives.
Yeah.
As in, gives them a touch of confidence and a little bit of self-respect.
Absolutely.
And I think all kids should do it.
Well, I agree, because I think that in everyday life, if they know how to take on a persona, they can actually then.
Because they're doing it anyway.
Yeah, they can I say win their argument, but they can start to learn, because a lot of what you need to do in real life is listen to what's going on.
Yeah.
You get confrontations, and then it's how do I keep that confrontation from getting. I mean, one of the things that we've been discussing more recently is that people will shout at one another, and there's no listening, and there's no dialogue, and they have to win.
Yep.
And you're kind of going, but that, if you were thinking about being assertive isn't about being
different.
aggressive.
Yeah, assertive's very different.
Yeah, assertive is about sort of respecting the other person's point of view.
Correct. Whether you agree with it or
whether
not.
you agree with it or not.
You still have to respect it. Absolutely.
Yeah. But also know that your views should also be in turn respected.
Correct.
And you should be given the freedom to express
but
those.
It always seems to only go one way, doesn't it?
And
that's the human race for you. That's what the human race has become.
Well, I think it's just the way things are.
There's lack of respect.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to listen. Everybody wants to outdo everybody else. Instead of just going, if we all pulled together as a team,
yes,
wouldn't it all be so much better?
So, with the exercise, I mean, because there's an exercise in drama.
Yes.
There, isn't there?
Yeah.
Of trying to encourage people to listen, then respond to what the other person would you.
In
use?
acting, listening is one of the most important things.
Yeah.
You have to listen to the other person speaking. I know a lot of actors that don't do that. All they're doing is thinking of their own line. The wait till the person stops talking, and then they automatically say their line. But if they listen to the person, when they do say their line, they'll understand what the person has just said to them.
Yeah.
Rather than going, I wasn't even listening to what they were saying, so I'm saying it this way, as if nobody had just said something to me.
Yes. Yeah.
listening is so important, especially in theatre.
Yeah.
Because, as I said before, about you don't get a cut. You can't cut and retake. In theatre, you have to. Listening is a big thing in acting.
Yeah.
You have to listen. You have to listen. You can't, as you said, but shouting over people and all.
Yeah.
No, you have to listen to everyone.
And I think that's also something interesting that a lot of people kind of think, oh, how many lines have I got? And you kind of go, well, the lines don't matter.
Yeah.
Sometimes you may have 2-3 minutes of performance with not a word being spoken.
I love those moments.
Yeah.
I prefer to not speak when I'm acting, especially on camera.
Yes.
Steve McQueen did that all the time. He'd cut lines out of a script.
Absolutely.
Steve McQueen.
Yeah.
And he says, no, I'll just do it with a look. He did.
I think in... obviously, we discussed earlier on, nobody else knows about this, but we're going to change the story. We're going to change the title of the next film, hopefully we work on. But in that, one of the things that I think would be quite interesting is I'm writing, I've written it so far, and there's things I'm going to add in.
Yes.
But one of the things I would like to explore is, because I know that actors tend to score out what the action is. It's just there to give a guideline. You don't do that?
No,
okay.
well, that's more important
Well,
than the lines.
Some people apparently they go through and score out.
I know some people don't even read the directions. I know I've seen that millions of times. They don't read the directions and then go, oh, I didn't know I had to do that. They're the most important bits.
They're the most important. Okay.
They're the bits I go for first, before dialogue. I want to see what's happening rather than what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I think that's important because, I mean, again, from a psychological point of view, and it's only through looking at behaviorism and the likes of, where it's about seeing actions. It's about, I mean, as a scriptwriter, I can't write what your character's thinking.
No.
All I can do is write about what that character's doing.
Correct. And the actor
and
then
the
takes
responses,
that on as the responsibilities of the actors then. That's true.
I think that becomes interesting is kind of, if you're then saying what you're doing, or maybe how you're, sitting or being awkward with the other person, then the audience can engage and interact with that process because they can start to interpret, well, look, that person's reacting. He may have said this. Yeah. But look what he's doing.
Look at his eyes.
Yeah.
His eyes are saying something completely
totally different.
Yeah,
we now need to investigate that as an audience to work out, well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And those things,
it's a lesson in psychology. Yeah. Like I've read that somewhere as well, that every actor has to be an amateur psychologist.
Oh yeah.
Which is true, because you have to get inside the head of that character.
Yes.
Not just not just their what you see on the outside, their body. You have to get internal and get into their head. So you do need to be something of a psychologist to do that.
Well, there's the psychologist and the sociologist. Because one of the things that becomes interesting through studying psychology is you can get too lost in your own internal.
Yes.
But it's only once you go out and become part of a group. Yeah. And then your character takes on a different persona depending on which group he's actually with. Yeah. Because those... I've kind of looked at this more recently that you can go to one group and be one person, go into another group, and all of a sudden, because of the dynamics of that group, you become somebody different. Yeah. And not only that, you agree with that group, and then may disagree with what this group is doing, and then you're in that group, and you suddenly agree. So that sort of that group mentality.
When in Rome,
absolutely,
it's nearly like that. When in Rome, do what the Romans do.
There's something interesting to explore even from a film perspective is how we do change depending on which groupings that we're with.
Seeing
that character, and it's not that the character is being devious or no. It's just that within that grouping he's given or she's given.
It's just a different dynamic.
Yes.
And it's the same in theatre when you go in anything, but because we're talking about acting. An actor can be completely different in one theatre group, and then go to a different theatre group and be completely different, even though what they're doing is the same thing.
Yes,
it's a dynamic, and it's the same. It's very important when casting that your characters. When I'm directing, I nearly cast them for their personalities rather than their.
Yes,
I find what their personality is and see what's closest to the character's personality and do it that way.
Yeah.
And then you put people together.
Would you cast against opposite? One of the things.
Would I cast opposites against each other? It would depend on the script.
Because one of the little films we made called One Night, the characters were being cast, or the actors were being cast based on what somebody thought that these personalities were.
Yes.
And I deliberately swapped them around, and that produced something
that can
more
it's another
interesting.
dynamic.
Yeah.
There's loads of there's never rules
Yes.
as such. There are of course there are rules, but when it comes to that sort of thing, it's all open for suggestion.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just a person's opinion.
Yeah.
One person's the director's opinion.
Yeah.
So it's really one of them things. It's like one of them things you could talk about forever and still not have
Absolutely.
a final answer. Dynamic is very important. You know, I've been in cases where an actor can't do the role later on if you're repeating the show at some stage, and a certain actor or actress can't play the role because they're busy or they're doing another job or whatever, or they're out of the country or they're getting married or having a child, whatever it may be, and they put someone else in. Now you've already done this play or show or musical, whatever it may be, with these actors, and it worked lovely, and then someone new comes in. Doesn't work, but it changes the dynamic of it because it's a completely different person putting their spin on this character. But you've seen another actor do with the same character, and they're going to do it completely different. Yeah, and it's like a snowball rolling down a hill. Yeah, so anything can happen then, but that's part of the magic of it all as well.
Absolutely,
I love it. It's just magic.
We have more on the way, so please subscribe to this channel and check out the link below if you'd consider becoming a patron to help us keep making more content. Thanks for watching.